Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade sauerkraut. Whether you're eating it raw for its amazing health benefits or cooked for its delicious taste, fermenting your own sauerkraut is fun and easy. All you need ingredient-wise is cabbage and salt. You'll need about 3 tablespoons of salt for every 5 pounds of cabbage. You'll also need a container and something to cut your cabbage with. For my container, I use 2 1-gallon plastic food-safe buckets. I'll put the cabbage inside one and then the other one will just sit on top to hold the cabbage down. You want to make sure the cabbage stays submerged, and it's really important to have the pressure on it that helps keep the air out so that it actually ferments instead of rots. And for cutting the cabbage, I'm using this mandolin. You could also use a knife or a food processor. You just want to be able to slice or shred your cabbage into small pieces, and the more uniform the pieces, the better. I cut the cabbage in half just so that it fits better on my mandolin. And then I'll cut off the dried up stump on the bottom. I don't remove the core. As long as you can slice it thinly and evenly, it can be added to the rest of the cabbage and it ferments just fine. Then you just slice up the cabbage with the mandolin into a large bowl. My mandolin is set at 3/16 of an inch. If you don't have a big bowl, you can slice the cabbage up in batches, but when it comes time to salting it, it's best to have it all together so that your salt is evenly distributed. It may be that your largest soup pot would be the best container for mixing this up. Make sure you use any safety device that comes with your mandolin. When you're handling these high salt concentrations, the last thing you want is a cut on your finger. Once your cabbage is all shredded up, just give it a toss just to loosen it up a little bit. And then we'll add the salt. Sprinkle it all over and toss it with your hands. You might want to wear gloves because the salt can be pretty irritating. Then let it sit for about 15 minutes and the salt will start to pull the liquid out of the cabbage. After about 15 minutes, it'll start to wilt down and release some liquid. I don't know if you can see that on the close-up. But then you'll just mash the cabbage. You can use like a potato masher. I usually just use this as just a plastic cup and just beat it, like really hit it as hard as you can. You don't want to be gentle, you want to beat it. You want to keep pounding it until it releases enough liquid that it pulls in the bottom of the bowl. That's a good start. Now I just need to pack it into this container. So I'll put a little bit in and then I'll pound it down and put a little bit in and pound it down to firmly pack it into this container. I don't add any additional brine. All of the liquid comes out of the cabbage, so you want to make sure you're saving every drop. Then press the cabbage down until it's completely submerged under the liquid. Then I'll add the second container and weigh it down. Make sure your weight is heavy enough because the fermentation will create gas and pressure upwards, and you actually need a heavier weight than you probably think. This is a 10-pound hand dumbbell. Then just put your whole setup in a shallow dish to catch any overflowing brine. Then just sit it on your counter and let it ferment. This is day 5. I changed out the tray underneath because some of the brine overflowed into it. So I changed that out. You can see some foam along the edge. And there's still plenty of liquid in the coming out of the top of the bucket. So I'll take the weight off and we'll look inside. This is what it looks like. It's turned a little bit more yellow. There's plenty of brine in there, and there's nothing really suspicious going on. It has a slight sour smell. Mostly it just smells like cabbage. It has a sort of sharp Fresh cabbage has sort of a sharp scent. Hard to explain. Make sure you smell your cabbage before you start so you know what your baseline is. But it looks pretty good, so I'm just going to close it back up and let it keep going. This is day 10, still looks pretty clear, plenty of liquid. Just let it keep going. This is day 20, and I don't have quite as much liquid as I would like, but I think that this is actually done. It has a very strong sauerkraut smell, and let me taste it. Yep, I think it's done. So I'm going to pull this. I'm going to pack it into glass mason jars just to store it in my refrigerator. Once you put it in the refrigerator, it stops the fermentation process and it can stay in the refrigerator for months. I hope you found this video helpful. I'll put some resources in the video description so you can learn more about fermented foods, and thanks so much for watching. I'm so glad you decided to check out my video today. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you want to check out the description box, I'll put links to my Facebook and my Pinterest account so you can follow me there. And thanks so much for watching.